What is up, guys? Just a mechanic, and welcome back to another video. Today I have another spray gun for your viewing pleasure, a highly requested spray gun from Harbor Freight, the professional HVLP spray gun. Many viewers have been asking my opinion on this particular spray gun, so I decided to go ahead and start with the review. Now, if you're new to the channel or just passing by, let me explain how I like to do my reviews. Typically, I break down my reviews into two-part videos. Part 1 is a breakdown of materials and overall build quality, and Part 2 is a demonstration and spray out with the actual spray gun. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin the dissection. So, first impressions, I see quite a few quality features that make this gun stand out over the rest in the similar price range. Some key features to note: it's been nickel plated, it has nicely knurled knobs, and overall the fit and finish is pretty good for the price. There is, however, a few things that raised an eyebrow for me and I think is worth mentioning. Alright, so what were some of the features that I did like about it? Well, first and foremost, it's quite a bit thicker of a spray gun in the hand, and honestly, it's not super ergonomic. The body size is a bit thicker than some of the higher end spray guns. For instance, these Harbor Freight Spectrum HTE. This one is quite heavier and is quite thicker as well, and it is quite noticeable compared to some of the higher end spray guns you could get from Harbor Freight. Now, moving on to the air cap. The air cap actually seems of pretty high quality. You could see that it's been anodized from the cap, and then also the air cap. This is actually brass, but it's been finished off not only on the outside but also on the inside as well. And also there wasn't any leftover material, and the holes seem to be drilled out pretty well, to the point where it seems like actually pretty good quality. I'm not seeing any issues here as far as the air cap. The holes are nicely aligned, or the air horns. They're a good size. I do notice that the design on the air cap, if I could get a little bit closer here, hopefully you guys can see that. You could see that the holes are quite a bit of a different configuration than what I have seen on some other spray guns. And it probably has to do with the size of the air cap. As you can see, the facing here is quite small. So I think what they were trying to do is mitigate the air jets. You could see there's one on top and one on the bottom there. What they're trying to do is, since it's a pretty small face on the air cap, they added a few more holes to try to make the spray pattern a little bit larger without compromising the size of the air cap. Continuing on, we got the spray needle here, and it seems to be of very good quality, nice and smooth, nicely finished to a nice little point here. I'm not seeing any defects, and for the most part, this is actually really good material considering the price of this spray gun. Now, this needle actually is stainless steel, so you are going to be able to spray waterborne based paints with it. Now, something I like to do is, typically I like to grab a magnet and go ahead and see if the needle is magnetic, and in this case it is not magnetic, letting you know that it's actually pretty decent quality stainless steel and material. Now, if you guys seen some of my other videos, you guys know that sometimes when I put a magnet to the air cap, sometimes I could get the brass to be magnetized, and typically what that means is they're sourcing basically lower end brass material, but this company, however, seems to have sourced pretty good material, and that is very important because well, I'll explain a little bit more as I continue on. Alright, so you're probably wondering, why is it so important to source good materials? Well, if you guys notice here, let me get closer. You guys notice here we have a stainless nozzle right there, and we also have a brass distribution ring. Now, typically, if you guys are familiar with plumbing, you guys know that brass and stainless steel or copper should not really be mixed together. And the reason being because some stainless and some brass will actually start to create corrosion. And what I mean by that is the two dissimilar metals will actually kind of have a chemical reaction and start to corrode, and basically what will end up happening is the two materials will actually weld themselves together. Okay, so that is only in certain cases. Typically you guys want to do typically you have to do a lot of research in the type of materials that are compatible with each other, because if you don't, then you're gonna run into that issue. And to be honest with you guys, this stuff seems to be of high quality. It looks like they probably did their homework on this one, because if they didn't, these guns would have a lot of issues. Now, there are some things that I find a little bit questionable. And basically, like I mentioned, same thing with the materials. The stainless steel nozzle is actually fairly good material. It is stainless steel, like I did mention, and it is not magnetic, as you guys can see right there. But my biggest concern was the brass fitting. The brass distribution ring. As you guys can see in the inside, those are brass threads. This is stainless steel. Obviously the nozzle is going to be a lot harder material than the brass, so that goes to tell me that well, this thing is probably going to be very easy to strip the air distribution ring if you are not careful. One other complaint that I would probably have is the threading is also fine thread on both the air distribution ring and the nozzle, and along with the knobs as well. So you got to be very careful when taking this gun apart and cleaning it, because like I said, over time it could be very easy to strip out. Also, the snout of the spray gun, if you guys notice right there, it also has very fine threads. So even screwing on the air cap, you guys need to be extremely careful, because this could easily cross thread and probably ruin your day, because this is very soft material, brass, and yeah, it could potentially strip out. Now, the overall trigger feel, it's actually pretty decent, but it does have a little bit of deflection, not too much, an acceptable amount. But what it does have is a high trigger pull. So you actually have to squeeze pretty far in order to get that needle fully extended. So those are some of the features I didn't like. Also, some of the things, well, the chroming job, although it looks pretty good, up close and personal, you'll see some spots where they missed. Spots like here, looks like they didn't get the chrome all the way there. Looks like that part got missed, and this could potentially be the area where they actually hang the spray gun body in order to get chromed out, or nickel plated, I should say. Also, the nickel plating does have some defects, not too noticeable, but there are some specs in the fit and finish that well, I could be better, I guess you could say. The knobs, they do feel nice, although this fan knob did feel pretty tight, and but it is a brand new gun, like I said, so I'm gonna give that one a pass. But what are my thoughts overall with the spray gun? Honestly, guys, I'm pretty impressed because for the price of this gun, being around the $50 to $70 gun price range, this gun is actually pretty good, decent material, well machined. No burrs or anything of that sort. No extra little chips anywhere in the air cap like I've seen in some of the other spray guns that I've owned. You know, you just have to really clean them out. One thing that I really liked was there wasn't a lot of oil in this one. You know, it wasn't all caked on and everything. The oil seemed to be of good quality, and overall I think it's an excellent gun as far as materials and in manufacturing. I think they did a really good job. Now, I do want to mention that the same company that actually makes the professional spray gun also makes the higher end brand spray guns, which is the Black Widow and the Spectrum HDE and the HVLP. So keep in mind, it is coming from the same company. So as you could expect, you got some fairly good quality spray gun here, and I think it would give you know, some DIYers and entry-level professionals, yeah, I think I could see maybe a professional picking this one up, but really I think for the price, I think this should really be concentrated in the DIY or the home you know, painter. I think that's really where this gun would really shine. Being that there are some mistakes made as far as like a brass air distribution ring with a stainless steel nozzle, yeah, I could see this center part being stripped out pretty easily. Now, I did, however, try to remove this air distribution ring, and for whatever reason, I could not remove it. It was just, it was beyond manageable. It was beyond my strength to be able to remove that. I even stood on top of it and tried to wrench that thing right off, and it seems like it started to round off the Allen shape in there. And so I decided to not take it all the way apart, just because, well, I don't want to ruin it before I actually get to spray with it. So, but anyways, that is my final thought on the professional spray gun from Harbor Freight. Overall, I think it's a pretty good quality. I think you get your money's worth for sure with this gun. Really, it's going to come down to how it sprays, but from what I can see, you got some really good quality parts here. You're definitely getting your money's worth when you buy this one. And, well, that's going to be it for me, guys. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Stay spraying, and we'll catch you guys on the next review.